We're on.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. How is the tour going so far?
Tour is going good, really good. We've had some great crowds and playing in front of, different people that we normally wouldn't, and so can't complain.
Well, I think Suicidal's the band that really kind of sticks out, on the tour, and I was curious, what the fan reaction been, you got Slayer fans, you got Exodus fans,
Yeah.
and how's the mashup going?
That's a really good question, because we always like to think of ourselves as being, different than anybody else anyway, but especially on this bill, I think it really breaks it up, because we're definitely the redheaded stepchild on this one. We're different, we're the punk thrash band, and in between, and we come out, Slayer and Exodus have a certain style, which is their thing, and which we love, and it's great, but I think the crew, all the bands all agree that this is a really cool lineup, and we're just, we're happy to be there in that slot, and I think our slot really, changes things up for the whole show, and it's a good bill, it's a good ticket. If you come see it, it's been really fun to do this.
Well, I'm seeing online so many fans are like, "This is the best show I've ever seen." They're like, it's just across the board. That's thankful, the one comment.
Yeah, we're thankful. We come out every night and just give it our all, man, and just try to explode. We try to be like a hurricane on stage, and it's great, being able to watch Slayer every night. Sometimes they're loud, so I can watch a few songs, but after you play, you're tired. You're like, "Oh, Slayer, yeah," And Exodus is, everybody's just super cool, and it's just a great tour.
Well, Suicide's got to get the crowd amped
up
and
we get the crowd going. We try our best, and we get the pit going. It's a different, like I said, it's a different pit with us, because we're bringing, we like to think high energy and explosiveness, and the pit for us is, you can't stand there and lollygag.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the different generations of fans? You see, because now it's you have fans from back in the day that are bringing their kids out to shows. Yes. It speaks volumes for the generational appeal of the music.
Yes, that's another good question. And since we did 6 shows with them back in April, May, and we saw that it was sometimes older, sometimes, like you said, all three generations of people there, and now we're getting a lot of we get a lot of people that say, "Oh, I haven't seen you guys in 20 years," or this and that, because they're maybe weren't interested in seeing us, but now they have a chance to see us because we're playing with maybe a band they like Slayer, they like Exodus, and they're sitting there going, "Oh my God, this is not what I expected." We're not an old band standing there going, dun, dun, dun. And when the curtains go up, it's like, "Whoa, these people all over the place," and like, "Oh my God, you guys are running around like crazy and jumping all over stuff," and then you get kids who were there with their parents, and they're just looking at us going, "Wow, what is this?" And that is the greatest response, greatest reaction. I love that, the look on a kid's face the first time they see Suicide. What the hell is going on stage?
Well, yeah, I was reading that parents had said, my first concert was Suicidal, and I wanted my kids' first concert to be Suicidal.
Yeah, we love that. It's really cool for me, because it's such a instant gratification to play and entertain people and give them your energy and to get their energy back. Some nights are harder, some nights are easier.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to say, growing up, I believe that your music saved my life a lot of times. It was one of those things where I felt like somebody else understood me.
Yeah.
You had the same pain that I was feeling,
right.
And that if you could go on, so could I.
Right.
And just to put on my headphones and listen to Suicidal was just the greatest thing.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of people that come up and talk like that?
Yes. What you just said, I'm in my head, I'm just thinking Mike's always talking about that, and I get from California to wherever, people come to me and say, "Man, I was going through this, and I listened to You Can't Bring Me Down, or I listened to this song, and Mike's lyrics just touched me inside and gave me the strength to go on." I met a guy who was playing basketball in California, and he had been locked up, and he told me that during his stay in that the only thing that got him to the day was listening to Suicidal. and that was the only thing that gave him hope to get out. And he said, you know, he would have killed himself, and he said because of that. Now, and the irony of it is, we're Suicidal Tendencies, but our message has always been positive. Mike's lyrics have always been uplifting and strong and believing in yourself. And anybody that took the time to listen to him usually said what you said, you know. And that to me is one reason why I love being in this band, you know. And no matter what anybody says, when they actually see us play and hear the message, they go like, oh, I didn't expect that. And that's a great response for me to hear.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I had gang life and everything else, and it just really hit home, you know, the way that you guys came up.
Yeah.
Like, what was like a lot of the inspiration to put out? Was it just the way that you grew up? Is it just a combination of everything?
I think it's a bit of both. I think, you know, the reality of it is, you know, Mike could see everything that was going on with his friends and his life and his family and life experiences. I think that's the most real experience you can ever write about. It's your own life, and you know that we're all very similar as people on this planet, and we all can go through the same things. And the hardest thing to experience on the earth is feeling like you're alone in something. And when you see other people like yourself, like you said, giving you strength to go on, you go, oh, I'm not alone. I can do this. You know what I mean? And that's the hardest thing for people to realize sometimes. And they get to that point where they're just like, I can't take this. And somebody comes along and tells a story, and you're going, I just went through that yesterday. You're going through that? And that's what Mike's vision. I think he was able to see that. And with his lyrics and with his heart, when you write from the heart, you touch other people. And that's some people say, well, it's a hard thing to do. I think sometimes when it's real and it's true, it's an easy thing to do.
Absolutely. I think, like, you know, back to even speaking about the generations of fans, I think what it spoke to the older generation is kind of the same thing that it speaks to a new. Each generation is hungry for its own message, and they're gonna take away. They need that positivity or that motivation or whatever it is. It's just, you know, it might manifest itself in different ways.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. I mean, each generation, and you know, some kids have angst and anxiety. They don't know why. They just, you know, it's just being a teenager sometimes. You know, like, oh, you know, I want to rebel against everything. And some people have, like you said, a hard life. Some people go through, like, their home life may not be good. They may have an abusive parent or be bullied by somebody or any situation going on, and they need strength. And music touches the very soul. And sometimes they'll hear something and see people and go, oh, that's what I want to associate myself with, you know. And it gives them something to believe in and empowerment, you know.
So, I mean, what continues to excite you about music?
I think, for me personally, like I said, being able to stand in front of people every day. Obviously, I love to play the guitar.
I would hope so.
And yes, so like for me, standing in front of people and seeing their reaction to our music just drives me, you know, to play. And I played all different types of music, from funk, R&B to pop, and this to me is the ultimate release. Like, this is what it's all about, you know, being able to express myself and let everything go, and just watching Mike and watching his energy, watching everybody around and their passion for it, and then that connecting to the crowd really just keeps me going with it. I wouldn't want to play any other type of music as long as I've done this. I've done this for a long time. I love it. I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Can I take a break once?
Yep, I was going to say, I could do a cut.
Dean used to play with Jessica Simpson.
Oh, I had to throw it in there.
I'm going to walk right back out too.
Okay. I think we talked about that last time.
Yeah, we did.
It's like, you gotta bring it up.
Yeah, you gotta bring it up.
And you were in Infectious Grooves too.
Yeah, I'm still in Infectious Grooves. Yeah, we've done a few shows.
Got Ryan's awesome.
Yeah, right.
I gotta say it.
Yeah, the Ryan Festival.
Are we not gonna see any more?
Yeah, we're planning on it. I just saw Robert, I guess now like a month ago on his birthday, and at his house, and he wants to do it.
Shoots a mean three-pointer, too.
Watch out.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. Man. Steve, you're always welcome. Steve's a good guy. Yeah, he's, you know, tour manager extraordinaire and singer for Sprung Monkey. So, that's funny. The infectious things. Mike and Robert have been talking back and forth, and we actually had something planned in May, which we can't do now because Metallica has like some huge offers to do some shows. We don't want to interfere with that.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll be doing some stuff in the States and in Europe. And I know Jim Martin's dying to play, and I'm lucky because I'm in Suicidal. I can still play in Roberts and Metallica, but Jim Martin is not playing with Faith No More, so he wants to play. So I want him to play too. So.
Oh, it's great. It's so much fun. Like fans are just eating it up. Like it is.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Is there any plans for follow-up material from 13 for Suicidal? Like what's
right now, we're still trying to work the record. We still feel like we have more to do on this record, and maybe put out a few more videos for it if everybody can watch out for that. And there's still some really good songs that we want to try to incorporate into our and let the fans hear and get that out there. And like I said, maybe video wise and playing them live. And so we'll see what happens after there. But we have a lot of music left in us, and Mike has a passion to play. He wants to go on. He wants to lift the band up and take it. Our thing is we want to be seen by as many people as we can. Like you said, the new generation of kids, the new skater kids, the new whoever. We want them to know us. Like, I think we're in a historical, iconic band. I'm fortunate to be in this band since 1996. I was in Infectious Group since 1990. And there's so much history with it. And a lot of people that were in the band before have gone on to do other things, such as Robert and Rocky and, Jimmy DeGrasso and all these people. I feel very fortunate to be part of the legacy of it, and so I try my best every day to make more memories for people and myself.
Absolutely. I think people were so happy that the band kind of came back and 13 was so successful.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing.
Yeah, I love the record, and I think like I said, it has more life in it. So we're trying our best to keep it going. As music has changed so much and the industry has changed so much, you guys know that, and so I think our gift to the world is like our live music, and I think in this genre that is the biggest thing. If you can play live, then you got something, and a lot of musicians and a lot of, not putting down other industry, but you got a big pop record and you go see somebody live and you're just going like, oh, this is not cool. But this is like, we're accessible, we're here, we're like blue collar workers, we're like, doing our thing.
I think people forget how much of a job like it actually is too,
Like, it's hard, rain or shine, you get on stage, and I don't want to sell anybody short. If I'm sick, if I don't feel good, and someone's paid their money to come to the show, I don't want them to be shortchanged. So I give it my all.
And it's funny that you brought up, the influences of the jazz and the stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because listening to Suicidal, I think really pushed me into directions to experience other types of music as well.
That's cool.
Stuff that wouldn't necessarily be thrash or metal.
Right.
I got into doo-wop and stuff like that, and little jazz and Dizzy Gillespie and stuff like that.
Dizzy Gillespie,
yeah. So I'm like, you really are not only just a staple in what is metal, but you really can connect the dots through time with you guys.
Yeah, and that's a great thing that you mentioned that, because if the fans knew, like, everybody has such a different influence on music, but we all come together and make this kind of music. We all embrace the punk rock and the thrash and the crossover hardcore. We all embrace that, but in our own personal space, it's like, well, I may listen to Prince or George Clinton or the Deftones or Ronnie Dio, and I love old metal. I love Van Halen. I love, and it's funny to say that that's old now, but like I loved it. I loved the first time I heard Judas Priest and Dio. I was like, oh, that's cool, man. And I was like, this kid in Texas, and all my friends were listening to the black radio station, and I'm listening to Dio and like, Rainbow in the Dark and all that stuff. I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world because it was so extreme, and it's just like Bootsy was to like R&B. He wasn't R&B. He was Bootsy. It was Parliament. It was like, and
there was like no defining that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It was no defining. But it was just like, wow, this guy's just crazy.
That's my favorite thing, though, when we get stuff across our desk where I go, what is this? Because so much you can't put in a box, and I get that. So.
and to me, that's where the excitement is. I can't stand the cookie cutter, Like, let's get some pretty girl and put her on here and do a song with a voice thing, whatever you call that thing that they use, the
Auto-tune.
yeah, auto. You know, she's just dancing. I mean, yeah, okay, you're cute and the song is whatever, but that's not, to me, it's not music. No, sorry, it's just not. You know.
I mean, of the changes in the industry, what's been the one that's had the biggest effect, like, on you?
I think the biggest effect on me is, you know, is the downloading and the access of people's music that they make when you are trying to sell CDs, and the fact that an actual CD now, you know, I have iTunes, I buy people's
They're
stuff
gonna make them obsolete.
Yeah, pretty soon, and I have thousands of CDs at home, but I have iTunes on my phone. If I like somebody's record, I go buy it. I don't steal it. I don't try to get it for free or whatever the thing was, Napster. I don't do that. I may watch something on YouTube, but I want the actual CD. Now it's virtual in my phone, but I can still look at the record and the cover and go like, okay, I bought this. And I feel like I'm in the industry. I'm not going to shortchange somebody else. I don't want them to do that to me. That is the biggest thing. I think kids today are missing, like when I was a kid, and I think we talked about this before, like opening that record, taking the sleeve out. I used to read all of the liner notes.
Yeah.
Who produced it? Where? Oh, Burbank Studios. Oh, this was mixed by so-and-so. I knew everybody's name. I looked at the pictures all down to like the catering company, whatever.
I mean, now I think that so many kids don't even know, other than the lead vocalist for a band, they can't even, I mean, I was like, if you can't name the bassist for a band, you're not really a fan. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that thing that they can't, you know? It's because, well, they're not reading any of that. That's where you got that information from, like, a lot.
And that was important to me, you know. So, you know, you got a thought?
Oh, no, it's just, when you said that, it scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
With the downloading and everything, and it's been scaring me for a while.
Yeah.
And the whole reason why is that I work with a lot of local bands and stuff like that, and you need to sell the record.
Yeah, exactly.
And the kids sit there and go, oh, well, it's okay to download like the Britney Spears record because she makes $100 million a year.
Right.
But if you don't on your level, you're gonna run out of money to put out music again.
Right.
And that scares the hell out of me that bands in the future and stuff like that are gonna go, it's not worth doing anymore.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think that's also the truth. When Gene Simmons said rock is dead and everybody kicked up over it, I think that that's more along the lines of what he meant.
Yeah.
You know, like you're killing the rock band slowly if you're not out supporting them. And I think it's taken very out of context with what, you know, what he actually meant to say. But it's like what you said, you know, if you're not supporting them.
Well, you know, a long time ago, Lars Ulrich said it. Now, he wasn't the spokesman for it because people looked at him and said, oh, well, you're a Metallica, you're rich. But he was right. He was absolutely correct. Now, if they had somebody else saying that from a smaller band, people would have looked at him and said, okay, yeah. But because it was Lars, they go, oh, well, you know, it's Lars. You know, how could he say that? He's got a big old house and da-da-da and money, and they play. But he was right.
No, he still knows.
Yeah, he still knew what was going on. And for me, I go, you know, the irony of it is, like, you know, I've written songs and this and that for other people and for this band, and you know, I get a check in the mail from a digital thing, and they sent me like this huge envelope and a piece of paper, and it's for 25 cents. And I go like,
oh, you got one of those?
Yeah.
I was like, heard that.
Oh, wow.
I can't believe you actually got one. Like, I haven't talked to anybody that actually got the
And it's like from some, you know, like the digital, it's called Noise or whatever the thing is from the, I don't know if it's YouTube or whatever. And I'm just looking at this thing going, you put this big old piece of paper like this, a beautiful check, and it says 0.025. I'm like,
see, they made you think you were getting an award or something.
Right. So I just saved it. I got one before I left on this tour.
Frame it.
For a penny.
Oh, man.
On a piece of paper. Yeah, I have like 3 of them now at home. And I just go like, wow. Who would have thought that this would, like, what am I going to do with this? You know, I can't even, like, go to the bank and, like, I'm putting a penny in. There's a penny on the floor right here. I mean, it's the weirdest thing in the world. But, I mean, granted, that's what's become of it. That's how it is. So I'd say I'm very fortunate to be out here on the road playing and being able to still make a living and play in front of people. And, you know, obviously the live thing is a big part of this type of music, but used to be able to have, CD sales, and you look forward to even reading Billboard to see where your band was. No matter how small you were, or alternative that word which we don't use anymore, like there was an alternative scene. You could look at it and say, oh, I'm down here on the alternative charts. Now you...
It's somewhere
Yeah,
out there.
it's just, what? I mean, platinum used to be millions of records. Now, what is it, 100,000 records or something? Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just gotten lower and lower.
Lower and lower and lower. I mean, if you're not Jay-Z or Justin Timberlake or Beyonce, you announce a record release. If you sell 5,000 copies, you're like, oh wow, we did. Alternative bands used to sell 100,000 copies on their own. Andy DeFranco used to sell 200,000 or 300,000 records on. It's like, what is that?
Absolutely. I mean, rock dominated the airwaves too at that time. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, but I love technology. This phone is great. It does everything. I can do everything except talk to the space shuttle on this thing. It's like, but...
It's my electronic handcuff.
Right, yeah. Right. But in the other sense, it's ruined a lot of things, which is crazy.
We're all glued to it, too.
It's taking a lot of fun away, too. 'Cause
yeah.
Me and my friends stopped doing anything illegal once the camera phone came out.
Right.
Somebody's going to catch you.
Yeah, and then everybody knows where you are with the maps on there. As soon as you turn your Bluetooth on, oh, there he is.
We know right where he is.
Yeah, we know where you are right now. Right.
So, I mean, we have the holidays coming up. You have any plans for the holidays?
I'm a very simple person. I love simple pleasures and stuff. I'm going to go visit my dad in San Antonio, Texas, and hang out with him, and my auntie and cousins are all down there.
Awesome.
And yeah, so we'll see I usually do that every year, and spend a few weeks in Texas and come back to LA, and so I'm looking forward to that, and try not to eat too crazy. And the holidays.
Roll you out on the stage.
You're like, I can have that.
Trying to stay away from too much sweets, but yeah, I know I'm going to end up, have a few pieces of pie here and there, of course.
Cookies, come on.
Yeah. Excuse me, exactly.
So what gets 2015 look like?
We're making plans right now for it, and hopefully we'll have some stuff up in the spring and some shows, and I don't know what's going on with this tour here, if we're continuing on with this or not, if they have more plans for it, if we're a part of it, but if not, this has been a great run.
You think you guys could do a headlining run?
Yeah, I think we might do our own stuff and try to look to do some shows in Europe and stuff like that, maybe some stuff here. But it's all in the works right now, being negotiated with Big Boss Mike Muir, and he's looking into that. So we're excited about this, and we're excited about the way the band is going now. It's a new energy we have, and a good feeling after this summer we had was kind of a little rough, but we're very positive and happy about this, and being here. Definitely, it's a good energy.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to speak with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's
Very
good to
much
see you all
so.
again.
Thank you so much.
Yes, definitely.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.